Hello everybody, and welcome to a new little fun thing I'm going to be doing. Uh, don't worry, Morrowind is still going to be playing. Skyrim has ended, unfortunately, but we are going to be starting a new thing. This is a little program called Fighting Fantasy. Basically, it's a bunch of these different choose-your-own-adventure books. I only have some of them, of course, but we're going to be going through the best ones. These books are skill books. They choose your own adventure, and they are known for being notoriously difficult. So the first book that we're going to be getting into is called The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. This will require tons of reading, so do not be alarmed. I will try to read through everything. If I do skip some things, well, you know why. Anyways, let's get right into the first book. Deep in the caverns beneath Firetop Mountain lies an untold wealth of treasure, guarded by a powerful warlock, or so the rumor goes. Many adventurers, expert swordsmen like yourself, have set off for Firetop Mountain in search of the warlock's hoard. No one has ever returned. Do you dare follow them? I say we do. Let's read. Yes, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Oh, I skipped over that. Perfect. The Warlock of Firetop Mountain is a fantasy game book, an interactive adventure in which you are the hero. You can only win by choosing the correct path, finding equipment, avoiding traps, and surviving combat. You will need to be as wise as an owl and as cunning as a weasel to triumph over the challenges ahead of you. Before embarking on your adventure, you must determine your own strengths and weaknesses with a series of dice rolls. You have been preparing for your quest by training yourself in swordplay to improve your skill, and exercising vigorously to build up your stamina. Before making rolls, you must choose your difficulty from one of 3 difficulty settings. This gamebook is designed for optimum challenge on the adventure difficulty mode. For newcomers to Final Fantasy, we recommend adventure or free read modes. For experienced readers already familiar with printed versions of this game book, we recommend Hardcore Hero Mode. We are going to be playing on Adventurer. You have chosen the Adventurer role. Before continuing, you must calculate your initial stamina. Your stamina score reflects your general constitution, your will to survive, your determination, and overall fitness. The higher your stamina score, the longer you'll be able to survive. You must roll 2 dice and add 12 to the numbers rolled. This is then entered in the stamina box on your adventure sheet. Stamina will go up and down during your journey, but if your stamina falls to 0, you die, and your adventure is over. Let's roll our stamina. So 15 is our stamina. That's not good. Your skill reflects your swordsmanship and general fighting expertise. The higher the better. Your fighting skill is determined by rolling a die and adding 6. This is your skill. Adventure sheet on your adventure sheet can be accessed anytime on the menu at the bottom of the screen. Roll your skills. Oh, wow. 8. Next, determine your luck. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you are about to explore. Your starting luck is determined by rolling on a die and adding 6 to that number. This is then entered into your luck box. You must choose a potion. Okay, 3. We got a 9 on the luck. That's probably good. In addition to your other starting equipment, you may take 1 bottle of a magical potion, which will aid you on your quest. Each potion contains enough for 1 measure, so use it wisely. The potion of skill and strength will fully restore your skill or stamina points, respectively. The potion of fortune will add 1 to your initial luck, before fully restoring your luck points. I say, let's take the potion of strength. You begin your adventure with a sword and a shield and leather armor, a backpack containing provisions, food and drink, and a lantern to light your way. Rationing your provisions is key to a successful adventure. This may be consumed at any time, excluding combat, by accessing the adventure sheet. Each meal restores forward stamina. Be sure to pay close attention to your stamina and restore it regularly. Your difficulty settings determine how many provisions you begin with. Adventurers and free readers start with 10, while hardcore heroes begin with 3. During your quest, you may encounter characters and items that alter your 3 scores: stamina, skill, and luck. Usually these scores may only ever be restored to their initial amount. On very rare occasions, a particular page may grant an effect that defies this rule. Aside from these occasions, some magic items may also allow you to exceed your initial scores. So this is our little adventure sheet. This here, stamina, our lantern, provisions, and sword and shield. Also have bookmarks if I ever need to save a spot. Once you have read your equipment, you may begin. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. Only a foolhardy adventurer would embark on such a perilous quest without first finding out as much as possible about the mountain and its treasures. Before your arrival at the foot of Firetop Mountain, you spent several days with the humble townsfolk of the village, some 2 days' journey from the base. Being a likable sort of person, you found it easy to get along with the locals. Although they told many stories about the mysterious Warlock sanctuary, you could not feel sure that at all, or indeed any, of these were based on fact. The villagers had seen many adventurers pass through on their way to the mountain, but very few ever returned. The journey ahead was extremely dangerous, that you know for certain. Of those who returned to the village, none contemplated going back to Firetop Mountain. There seemed to be some truth in the rumor that the Warlock's treasure was stored in a magnificent chest with 2 locks, and the keys to these locks were guarded by various creatures within the dungeon. The Warlock himself was a sorcerer of great power. Some described him as old, others as young. Some said his power come from an enchanted deck of cards, others from the silky black gloves that he wore. The entrance to the mountain was guarded by a pack of warty-faced goblins, stupid creatures fond of their food and drink. Towards the inner chambers, the creatures became more fearsome. To reach the inner chambers, you would have to cross a river. The ferry service was regular, but the ferrymen enjoyed good barter, so you could save a gold piece for the trip. The locals also encouraged you to keep a good map of your wandering, for without a map you would end up hopelessly lost in the mountain. When it finally came to your day of leaving, the whole village turned out to wish you a safe journey. Tears came to the eyes of many of the villagers, young and old alike. You couldn't help wondering whether they were tears of sorrow shed by eyes which would never see you laugh again, no turn over. At last, your 2-day hike is over. You unsheathe your sword, lay it on the ground, and sigh with release as you lower yourself down to the mossy rocks to sit for a moment's rest. You stretch, rub your eyes, and finally look up at Firetop Mountain. The very mountain itself looks menacing. The steep face in front of you looks to have been savaged by the claws of some gargantuan beast. Sharp rocks, crags, just out nuncio angles at the top of the mountain. You can see the eerie red cloud, the eerie red color, probably some savage vegetation, which has given the mountain its name. Perhaps no one will ever know exactly what grows up there, as climbing the peak must surely be impossible. Your quest lies ahead of you. Across the clearing is a dark cave entrance. You pick up your sword, get to your feet, and consider what dangers may lie ahead of you. But with determination, you thrust the sword home into its scabbard and approach the cave. You peer into the gloom to see dark, slimy walls with pools of water on the stone floor. In front of you, the air is cold and dank. You light your lantern and step wearily into the blackness. Cobwebs brush your face, and you hear the scurrying of tiny feet. Rats, most likely. You set off into the cage. After a few yards, you arrive at the junction. So, will we turn west or east? Well, this is where we are. That's actually very useful. Alright. So, since that is where we are, I say, let's turn east. The passageway soon comes to an end at the locked wooden door. You listen at the door, but hear nothing. Will you try to charge it down? Let's try. You charge at the door with your shoulder. Okay. Roll 2 dice. Sadly, you failed this skill check. Okay. You rubbed your bruised shoulder and decide to try again. Inside against. Okay. You arrive back at the junction passage. You look left to see the cave's entrance in a dim distance, but walk straight on. There is a right-hand turn to the north in the passage. Cautiously, you approach a sentry post in the corner. As you look in, you can see a strange goblin-like creature in leather armor asleep at his post. You try to tiptoe past him. Oh! Oh, wait, no, we succeeded. Okay, if you're lucky, turn to 301. He does not wake up and remains snoring loudly. You continue on. To your left, on the west face of the passage, there is a rough-cut wooden door. You listen at the door and can hear a rasping sound, which may be some sort of creature snoozing. Let's try to open it. The door opens to reveal a small, smelly room. In the center of the room is a rickety wooden table, on which stands a lit candle. Underneath the table is a small wooden box. Asleep on a straw mattress in the far corner is a short, stocky creature with an ugly, warty face. The same sort of creature that you found asleep at the sentry post. Who must be with the guard for the night watch. Let's try to take the box. You take a few careful steps closer to the box. I'm lucky, hooray. If you're lucky, he does not wake up. You leave the room and open the box. In the passage inside, you find a single piece of gold and a small mouse, which must have been the creature's pet. You keep the gold coin and release the mouse, which scurries off down the passageway. You gain 2 luck points. Further up the passage along the... Do we actually gain that? Ah, so it is. Further up the passage along the west wall, you see another door. You listen at it, but hear nothing. If you want to try to open the door... let's try to open the door. The door opens to reveal a small room with a stone floor and dirty walls. There is a stale smell in the air. In the center room is a makeshift wooden table on which is standing a lit candle. Under the table is a small box in the far corner room. Oh yeah, let's open the box. The box is light, but something rattles within. You open the lid, and a small snake darts out to bite your wrist. Oh shoot! We are now fighting. Fight! Ha! You killed it. The box has fallen to the ground during your fight with the snake, and out of it has your fight with the snake, and out of it has fallen a bronze-colored key with the number 99 carved into it. You take this key with you and leave the room. You gain 1 luck point. Alright. Further up the passage on the west wall, you see another similar door. You listen at the door and grimace to hear the worst scene you've ever heard in your life. Let's walk on up. You eventually arrive at the end of the passage at a 3-way junction. You may either turn west or east. Oh, here we go. So, that's where we were. That's the garden. This is the small room, which is where we are. Let's turn west. The passage runs for several meters, and then in there one door. You listen at the door and hear angry shouting coming from within. Let's investigate. You open the door to the large room. A large chair behind a solid-looking table suggests to you that someone or something of rank uses this room. A chest in the center catches your eye. In the corner of the room stands a man-sized creature with a warty face, standing over a small creature of similar race, with the whip in his hand. The orc chieftain has been beating a servant who is whipping beneath him. Let's spring at the chieftain and hope that the servant will aid me. As you spring at the chieftain, the servant rises to his feet, picks up a hefty wooden stick, and joins the melee, but to your disappointment, he attacks you. Shoot. The orcs rush towards you, and battle commences. Ah! Defeated. Okay. What? Fight. Ha! I killed the orc chief, and now I must face the servant. Oh. It's lucky. You're lucky. Triumphant. The green blood of the dead orc smells foul as it seeps from their bodies. You step around the corpses and investigate the chest. It is sturdy, fair, made of strong oak and iron, and it is firmly locked. Let's try to smash it. The lock was obviously inadequate. It flies off and lands on the floor several meters away. You lift up the heavy lid and eyes widen as you see the gold sheen coming from within. A fair number of gold pieces are inside. In one corner lies a small black bottle with a tight glass stopper containing a liquid of some kind. Also in the chest is a silky black glove. As you are mising this treasure, you hear a soft click and wince and bang as a small dart shoots forward into your stomach. To determine the potency of the poison, you must roll one die. Ow. I'm still alive. That hurt, though. You sink to the floor. You pull the dart out and decide to bandage the wound. This gives some relief, but you're still weak. You decide to take it easy and examine the contents of the chest. There are 25 gold pieces, and the label on the bottle shows it to be a potion of invisibility, good for one dose. The glove is a mystery. You should put all these into your haversack and leave the room. Silky black glove. Okay. You arrive back at the junction in the passage and walk straight on eastwards. So where was that? Okay, that was there. You arrive at another junction. Let's go northwards. You see a well-used door on the right-hand side of the passage. With your ear to the keyhole, you listen and hear a man screaming for help from the inside. Let's open the door. The door is locked. You may use your skill to try to barge it down. I'd pass it. Perfect. The locked door burst open, and a nauseating stench hits your nostrils. Inside the room, the floor is covered with bones, rotting vegetation, and slime. A wild-haired old man, clothed in rags, rushes at you, screaming. His beard is long and gray, and he is waving an old wooden chair leg. Is he simply insane as he purrs, or has this been someone in a trap? Let's try to calm him down. You shout, "You're freed, old man!" at the top of your voice. Instantly, his ranting ceases. He stops dead in his track and sinks into the floor, weeping loudly. As he gradually composes himself, he thanks you many times. You talk with him in the hope of discovering some of the secrets of the mountain, and he begins to tell you his story. Many years ago, he was an adventurer like you, in the search of the Warlock's treasure. He was captured by the orcs and thrown into a solitary cell, as sort of a pet for the creatures. You ask whether he would like to accompany you in the mountain, but he simply wants to leave and see the world again. You ask him for advice, but he says he knows little. He advises you to pay your respects to the boatman. He tells you that you must pull the right-hand lever on the wall ahead to open the iron gate at the end of the passage. He has also learned that the key to the boathouse are guarded by a man and his dog. You shake hands, leave the cell, and go your separate ways. Further up the passage, you see a door on the east wall. You listen hard, but can hear no sound. Do you want to open the door and investigate? Sure. The door is firmly locked. Let's try to force it open. You charge the door. We pass it. The door splits along its length, and you can wrench the timbers apart to let yourself in. A torch hangs from one wall, lighting up a small armory. The room is stacked with swords, shields, helmets, daggers, breastplates, and the like. You examine the weaponry and find nothing appearing superior to your own sword. However, a circular iron shield with a golden crescent at its center catches your eye. You pick it up and feel its weight on your arm. The shield will aid you in battle by helping you fend off damage. If you are using the shield and a creature wounds you, you may throw one die. If you throw a 6, the creature inflicts only 1 point of damage instead of the normal 2. If for some reason the creature will normally only inflict 1 point of damage, then a successful roll of 6 will mean no damage is done. You add the crescent's shield to your gear, leave the room, and continue up the corridor. On the east wall of the passage, you see another door, this time made of solid metal. Listening at the door, you hear the sound of tortured screams coming from the within. Try to open it. The door is not locked and opens. The room in front of you seems to be a small torture chamber with various torture devices around the walls. In the center of the room, 2 small hunchback creatures are torturing a Can I drink my potion? Yes. Perfect. And yeah, no, that's it. torturing dwarf who's tied to a hook in the ceiling by his wrist. The two hunchbacks are poking and cutting him viciously with their swords. The dwarf lets out a final scream, falls silent, eyes closed. His captors make disappointed noises and look around angrily at you as if it was your fault that his room has collapsed. You must act quickly. Let's draw my sword and fight these creatures. Die. Aha. Let's look it. Yes. Ah, the first goblin is dead. Now we must defeat the second one. Cut down the dwarf. He is, as you guessed, dead. Going through the pockets of the two goblins, you find a large piece of sweet-smelling cheese. You put it in your pack and leave the room northwards. You arrive at the end of the passage, where it meets another going west, but an iron portcullis blocks your way, and no amount of charging is going to budge it. On the wall to your right are two levers, and it seems likely that these levers have something to do. He said the right lever. You hear a deep rumbling noise in the ground begins to shudder. Slowly and noiselessly, the portcullis rises in the ceiling. You may walk now to the junction. Let's go east. Cautiously, where are we in this map? Okay, so what to hear here? Prisoner into the armory, then to the torture chamber. Now we're at the portcullis. Cautiously, you creep along the passageway. After a short time, turn sharply to the north at the corner. There's a bench of solid wood, and a bench. A sign reads, "Rest ye here, weary traveler." Yes, let's eat some provisions. You sit on the bench and eat your food. You begin to feel deeply relaxed, and the aches in your body seem to soothe themselves away. This resting place is enchanted. You restore 2 additional stamina points and 1 skill point. When you're ready to continue, move along the passage. Perfect. You arrive at another junction in the passageway. Let's turn westward. You follow the passage westward, then sharply turns to the north, and some meters further on, a passage runs off to the west. Let's carry on northwards. A rough timbered doorway is on the east wall of the passage. You listen at the door and can hear a jolly sort of humming sound. A voice bids you come in, and you walk into a small room furnished with a table and chair shelves, cupboards, and the like of all which have seen better days. Plates, bowls, cups, and hundreds of old books line in the shelves. In the midst of all this clutter, you see a little old man in a grubby white gown, swaying to and fro in a rocking chair, still humming happily to himself, his eyes fixed on you, but seeming at peace with the world. He bids you good day. Let's start to make conversation with him. As you speak, the old man rises to his feet. Oh my, a stranger, he starts. Well, do come in, the shop is open. What can I get you? What would you like to buy? What takes your fancy? Which way you're headed? North? Well? You tell the old man your story. He listens intently and replies. Oh, yes, in that case, you will definitely need one of my blue candles. That will be 20 golds, please. Cash, if you don't mind. Yes, I know it's expensive, but isn't everything these days? Not so long ago, these were only 5 pieces each. But you know what happened to the price of candle wax since the long dark night. Oh, but you probably don't, since you come from these parts. Never mind, I can guarantee it's still worth the price. You might need it sooner than you think. Let's buy the blue candle. Yes. Northwards, the passage ends. Perfect, we have a blue candle. Northwards, the passage ends at the solid wooden door. You listen at the door, but can hear nothing. There appears to be no choice but to open the door and into the room, which you do. It's a large square room. You flash your lantern around the room and catch a quick glimpse of its emptiness, although there are murals on the wall before your lantern suddenly goes out. You try to relight it, but it will not catch. In the blackness, you hear a succession of frightful noises. Howls, screams, cries, and wails are getting louder and louder until they reach the pitch where you must cover your ears. Do you have a blue candle? I do. You think back to the words of the old man. Oh, you might need it sooner than you think. You grope in your pack and pull out the candle immediately. It lights itself of its own accord. The howling stops, and the room appears bathed in a blue light from the candle. On the walls, the figures in the mirror are moving. They are mouthing silent screams as if trapped in a two-dimensional hell. Add 1 luck for your foresight. On the wall opposite is another door, which you may leave through, or you may investigate. Let's leave. I think investigating is a bad idea. You enter the small room, bare except for a fountain in the middle. Not a particularly grand affair. The fountain is a small carved fish, and a short jet of water comes from its mouth. A wooden sign hangs from the fish, and it bears a message. It is written in Goblin tongue, in which you are not very proficient. The first words you cannot understand, but the others read, "Not to drink," but you are extremely thirsty. Let's not drink from it. The door is open into a passage which you follow northwards. Shortly you reach a bend and follow it around to the east. Several meters on you reach a junction, at which you can either go north or continue eastwards. Let's continue. The passage twists and turns and eventually ends on a solid iron door. You listen to the door, but hear nothing. The room is unoccupied, and there seems to be no means of exit. In the center of this floor stands a table, and on this table are 2 helmets, one of bronze and one of iron. Both are about your size. Let's try the iron helmet. You place the helmet onto your head. It fits well. A glow begins to fill your body, and you seem to possess a power and confidence beyond anything you have felt before. This helmet is blessed with magic, and will add 1 skill point as long as you wear it. You arrive back at the junction, and this time turn northwards. Some of the way up the passage, you reach another junction. You may either go eastwards or turn westwards. Let's turn westwards. The passageway twists sharply northwards, and you can hear water flowing. You can eventually reach the south bank of an underground river. As you stand on the pebbled bank, you hear a fluttering of wings, and look up to see 3 giant bats swooping down to attack you. Fight 3 as a single creature. Shoot. We can take them. Aha! Triumphant. You sheathe your sword and walk to the edge of the water. Is it safe to swim? Although you cannot see any immediate danger in the water or around its banks, there is no way through on the north side of the river. You suddenly notice a gleaming sword lying on the riverbed several steps in. You wade into it to retrieve it. It is light in your hands, far less cumbersome without your own weapon. It has a keen edge. This marvelous weapon will add 1 point to your skill. The mysterious voice speaks directly into your mind. It seems to be telling you to throw your own sword into the river. Yes. As you throw your own sword into the river, a bubbly voice says, "Thank you." It now seems that the only way onwards is to swim down to the east. You plunge into the water. The current is strong and takes you swiftly downstream. You are washed along through a narrow opening and out into large caverns with banks on both sides. The current washes you onto the south bank. You are on the south bank of an underground river, facing across its black depths. There appear to be 4 ways of crossing. To your left, a rusted bell bears a sign, "Ferry service, 2 gold pieces. Please ring." There is a small raft in front of you on the bank, with a long stick resting beside it. You could punt across the river. A rickety old bridge crosses on the right. If you don't trust any of these, you may swim. Let's ring the bell. The bell gives a dull clang, and after a few moments, you see a withered old man climb into a small rowing boat moored on the north bank. He rows slowly across to you, lowers the boat, and limps towards you. He asks you for 3 gold pieces. When you protest the price, he mumbles something flimsy excuse about inflation. He begins to get angry at your protestations. Let's just give him 3 gold. He calms down, takes the gold, and rows you across the north bank. After mooring the boat, he ambles off down a passageway. You have arrived on the north bank of a fast-flowing river in a large underground cavern. Facing north, the rock face is smooth and glistening with moisture. Moss of many different hues grows on the surface. There is an eerie silence, punctuated only by the splashing of the river as it flows behind you. You have 3 options. Passage runs off to the northwest. If you want to take this route, turn to this page. A large timbered door is directly in front of you in the middle of the rock face. If you open the door, turn to this page. Another passage runs along the river eastward. To follow this, turn to this page. Let's see. Let's just go through the door. You find yourself in a short, narrow passageway with a door ahead to the north. You try this door. The door squeaks open on its rusty hinges. The room is dark, and your eyes begin to adjust as the door closes behind you. You hear shuffling before you can react. A blow to your head knocks you senseless. Lose 2 stamina points. You awaken with a throbbing head and look around. The room is about 80 meters square, with doors to the north and south. You have been dumped in the southwest corner. Standing motionless in the center of the room are 4 men. At least they appear to be men. Their skin is a greeny gray color. Their clothes are tattered and torn, and they are all staring vacantly at the ceiling. One carries a club, one a scythe, one an axe, and one a pick. They are ignoring you completely. Around the room are various peasant-style weapons, pitchforks, at-hangs, pointed sticks, etc. 1 or 2 shields and several barrels. In the northeast corner is a human corpse with a sword in one hand and a shield in the other. You move your hand up to your head to feel for signs of blood, and are relieved to see that you're not bleeding. But as your hand moves, the strange creatures in the center of the room turn their eyes down towards you. Try to talk. Their vocabulary is limited to a series of moans and groans. They appear not to be intelligent at all. Furthermore, your conversation merely serves to attract their attention to you. They grip their weapons and look as though you will have to fight them. However, there is a slim chance you can make it to the door you came through. Let's just fight them. The 4 creatures shuffling towards you are mindless zombies. Their vacant eyes suggest that the actions are controlled by a will which is not their own. You are still too dizzy to think properly, but you act quickly. The zombie reaches you in, prepares to swing with a club. Die. Aha. Oh shoot, that sucks. Aha. Killed the first zombie. Oh dang, that's not good. Oh, yeah, business. Come on. Aha! Now it's time to fight the enemy with the scythe. Or I mean the axe. Executing it from impunity. Let's get the next one. I'm triumphant. The poor wretches lying dead at your feet almost look happy to be relieved of the burden of life. As you look down at them, you sense that you're not the only one who knows of their deaths.
You feel lucky to have survived against so many foes. You gain 2 luck points. Looking around the room, there are a few things to investigate. To look more closely at the weapons lying around, to examine the dead body in the northeast corner, or to investigate the barrels. Let's look at the weapons. You find nothing remarkable about the weapons. In fact, not a single weapon looks more useful than your sword. As you touch the debris, you hear a deep thumping from the north, followed by a scream which sends a shiver down your spine. You rush to the north door to investigate. The door opens, and you find yourself in a dark crypt of some kind. The room is very large. At the end is an altar, and various coffins are strewn about the room. There's a door behind you in the south wall, and also one in the west wall. Let's investigate further. The silence is deathly. A slow drip startles you as you creep around the coffins. The altars are neatly carved and studded with jewels. Beautiful woven drapes hang from the walls. Although they are threadbare in places, there are 3 coffins in this room. A creaking noise makes you whirl around, and light from your lantern falls on the largest coffin. It is opening. As you watch a tall man with a white face sit upright, his eyes open and fall on you. His expression changes from one of tranquility to one of abject hate. His mouth opens, and a terrifying hiss comes from his throat. His teeth are wolf-like. He beckons you to come closer. Let's run for the west door. You are in the narrow east-west corridor. Looking westwards, you can see a crossroads ahead. You go on to the crossroads. Standing at the crossroads, you may go either north, west, or south. North. You are following a passageway which leads ahead to the north. After several meters, it bends sharply to the east. You continue eastwards until you eventually come across a narrow opening in the north wall. You climb through the opening and find yourself at the top of a narrow staircase leading downwards. Cautiously, you descend the stairs. The narrow staircase is cut into the rock, and there are about 20 steps leading down. At the bottom of the steps, a passageway leads to a large open chamber. This chamber stinks of putrefying flesh. It smells so bad that you're tempted to turn back. 3 bodies lie in the chamber. You either search the bodies or tiptoe quietly through the room. Let's search the second body. As you move over towards the second body, you accidentally kick the 3rd corpse on the floor. Its eyes flick open, and it quickly sits up and slashes you with its long, sharp fingernails. My luck has run out. The putrefying creature slashes across your leg, and you suffer 1 stamina damage. The creature now standing before you is a semi-decayed man. His eyes dart from side to side watching you. His long tongue flashes out with a hissing noise. His teeth and nails are sharp, and he doesn't seem to be afraid of your weapon. He is a ghoul. He has the ability to paralyze and kill you if he scores 4 separate wounds on you during this battle, so beware. Let's fight him! Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my god. My luck did indeed run out, guys. I won't let me. Oh. Uh-oh. What just happened? Sorry about that. Let's fight him again. Okay, that's kind of weird. It wouldn't let me play. Well, now we're gonna win. I don't know if I should. Oh, there we go. Hit me. 17 millimeters. See, it happened again. Well, at any rate, I think that is where we're going to leave off for tonight, because I am indeed a
very tired. So that's probably where we're going to leave it off. Again, this is going to be a new thing. I'm sure that Morrowind will return either next episode I do, or this episode, you know, whatever. But yeah, I do have a few books to do. This is only the first book, and I'm sure that we're not even halfway through it. We do have 6 books to go through, so you know that will hopefully be fun. So yeah, Warlock and Firetop Mountain, the first one. Again, it's a bit buggy at the end there. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and goodbye.